Hello, I'm Carol McPherson, and I appreciate the opportunity Spencer Cable Access has afforded me to tell you about the debt exclusion and why Bob and I support it. The debt exclusion for the roads project is $19 million, a lot of money. And that will represent, for our house, which is approximately $200,000, will represent $200 a year when they finally take the bond out. And that will go on for 30 years. It is a debt exclusion, so there is an end for 30 years. Frankly, I'm 77, so I probably won't see the end of it. But anyone a little younger, you will see the end of it. That represents fixing 8 bridges and 38 roads. The 8 bridges and 38 roads, that represents small amounts on some of the roads, small maintenance, and then the major roads that are going to be done are Route 31 South, which everyone knows is in very bad shape, and Paxton Road. Route 31 South, there is money in the state budget to take care of that road. However, it was not released by Governor Patrick, and it has not been released by Governor Baker. If that money is released, that means that $19 million will go farther, and the DPW will be able to do more roads and more maintenance on the other roads and more fixing, obviously. But the selectmen have decided that we need to bite the bullet and just fix Route 31 South. It's giving a lot of people a lot of trouble, and not wait for the state to finally make up their mind what they're doing about it. It's a little difficult to support this. $200 is a lot of money for anyone, particularly someone in our situation where we're elderly and we're on a fixed income. But I look at it as the roof on your house. There are a lot of things about your house that you don't fix if you don't have a whole lot of money. You can let go some painting, you don't have to have new furniture. But when you have a leak in your house, in your roof, it's really important to fix that, because you know that if you don't fix it, your walls are going to be affected, the whole house is going to be affected, and the cost of that roof is going to be nothing compared to what it's going to be down the road if you don't do it. Rob McNeil went to the selectmen about 10 years ago, and he had a plan to fix the roads in Spencer. And at that time, he projected that it would be about $9 million to bring the roads up to snuff. And he also said at that time, and I was at the meeting, that if we didn't fix them at that time, it was going to be a whole lot more to take care of them down the road, because what happens with roads is if you don't fix them, they get worse, and it's a lot more expensive to bring them up to where they should be. So here we are, about 10 years later, and now they're talking $34 million to really do everything. The selectmen have opted to go for the $19 million, feeling that that's going to be a good start to take care of some of the problems. It's not going to take care of everything, but that $9 million, that really grew in the last 10 years. I wish we had done it 10 years ago, but we didn't, so we've got to bite the bullet. And things are only going to get worse. It will affect house values. We're looking perhaps selling our house in the next 4 or 5 years. We're getting to that age. And when you have bad roads or bad schools or bad whatever, it does affect your house values. So it's going to be beneficial to people like us. It's going to be beneficial to everyone. We're not driving anymore, so the roads don't bother us particularly one way or the other. But I know people that live on Route 31 South, and they've had some really high maintenance costs on their cars because it's very difficult, and I guess the potholes are terrible. If you got the new leader this week, there are 2 pamphlets. There's one about the roads project, and there's also a pamphlet about the Spencer town meeting. The town meeting will be held May 5th, and the election is May 10th. In order to pass this debt exclusion, there has to be a positive vote at the town meeting and at the May 10th election. So I urge you to go to the town meeting and vote yes. I also urge you to go to the ballot and cast your vote yes at the election. And we have to do both of these in order to pass the debt exclusion. I want to thank Spencer Cable Access for giving me the opportunity to present this, and I hope you will read these pamphlets. I hope you will look at all the information concerning the roads project. It's a very big project, and I know it's a tough nut to swallow. However, I think it's a necessary evil, and I want to thank you for listening.
My name is Cardinal Gale, Gale Drive, Spencer, and I'm running for the East Brookfield Spencer School Committee. I'm running to continue to make this district a level 2 instead of level 3 as it is now. I support putting more smart boards into schools, more books, more foreign language and computer technologies to move the district forward with the children. I was the person who found $600,000 misappropriated from the teacher's insurance account back a couple of years ago, which led to a financial disaster on behalf of a former superintendent. I also voted with the school board to borrow $1.4 million to get the district out of bankruptcy. We couldn't even buy lunches for 2 more weeks of the schools left in that year. So we were down to the last $5,000. I have to say is we also took a vote and vote to pay it back, and I'm happy to say it will be paid off next year, June 18th. It'll be paid in full with no cost to the taxpayers. It was paid out of the school budget. My opponents refuse up to this date to sit down and have a debate with all the members who are running. My question is what is their platform, and are they hiding something that they don't want the voters to decide who to pick for school committee? I think that's a shame. With that being said, I'm asking for your vote on May 10th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Kurt Nordquist for school committee. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jason Monnette, and I'm running for one of the 2 available seats on the Spencer East Brookfield School Committee. My wife and I just built our forever home here in Spencer. We have a 2-month-old son, Gabriel, who is going to grow up in this town. As we're raising the next generation of students, I truly believe it's time to get involved. So here I am at what I consider my job interview for you undecided voters. Voters should go to the polls with some ideas of why they are voting for a specific candidate and what that candidate stands for. I was born and raised in this town. I went through the school system back when Pleasant Street School was still operating. I had a great and memorable experience through middle school as well as junior high. Going into high school, I couldn't even imagine the experiences and memories that I was about to make for the next 4 years. My senior year, I was president of student council, lead role in the musical Showboat, captain of the track and football team, and I wore that black and orange with pride and dignity. I was there when times were amazing, when Prouty was at its best, and the community was right behind us. I saw what this town can be when we come together as a community. I saw administration, teachers, and parents work together. I know the potential of this district when we put the kids first. I believe in bringing a reflection of my upbringing into play. I was always taught to be honest, be loyal, and to act with dignity. My parents raised me to be a leader. At the age of 18, I was running full crews of middle-aged men for my family's landscaping business. Trying to lead a crew of men who have years of experience and look at you as just a kid was very challenging. Though mutual respect, teamwork, and showing them that I was knowledgeable, they grew to follow my lead. When I became head coach of the Prouty track program, there was very little participation. I helped in hiring the right coaches and built a team from under 20 kids to over 40 within a year. I demanded discipline and structure, and in return, my athletes showed me respect. We went on to win 2 SWCA West championships and created great memories for all of those athletes. Communication is key. The school committee has to be able to speak. The voices of all members need to be heard, and at times, they might even need to explain to teachers, community members, and students why certain decisions have been made. As of right now, there is no middle ground. The teachers' union and the school committee need to start treating each other with respect and communicating. The fact is, we are all in this for the same reason, to move this district forward. We need to give students incentive to stay. In the FY17 budget, we're projecting over $270,000 in students coming into our district. That sounds great and all, but when you see that we're losing $1.2 million in kids school choicing out, it's a huge red flag. That is a lot of capital that we are no longer keeping in this district. But we are losing more than just money. We are losing individuals who grew up in this community and now go elsewhere to gain their education. I would love for their memories to be created in the town that they live in. So how do we keep them here? We need to bring back more AP classes. We need to bring back the once popular elective classes, woodshop, plastics class, theater arts. These are just a few of the electives that Prouty once offered. We need to supply the teachers with tools they need to educate the students. I can remember when woodshop was building the stage props for the musicals. I can remember a time not that long ago when the entire town would show up to see the theater productions. By supporting and funding these types of changes, we can help bring back incentive for kids who don't get into Bay Path to stay at Prouty. We need to build the athletic department to what it once was with qualified coaches and personnel. If elected, I recognize we will need to form subcommittees which will allow us to review and change policy. There are so many policies right now that have gray areas that need clarification. One thing I have first-hand experience with is maintenance. We must continue with the efforts that are already being addressed to hire the right management to make sure things are being maintained properly. Making repairs to the high school and updates to other schools' needs are a must. If our schools are properly maintained, tax dollars will be saved. I have a lot of ideas for improvements that can be made. I also respect the fact that if I'm elected, I'll have a lot of learning to do. It's not just up to me. It's up to the entire school committee to work together to discuss solutions. Everyone's opinion is valuable. If I'm elected onto school committee, I look forward to working with the existing members to give each topic the attention it deserves and come up with the positive ways to move the district forward. Change doesn't happen overnight, but we can start taking steps in the right direction to make positive improvements. Another candidate running stated in the new leader this past week that I am a union sympathizer. Let me make one thing clear. It's not that I sympathize with the union, but rather I am willing to find a middle ground, communicate, show transparency, and work together to do what's best for the district. I want to thank you all for your time, and if elected, I look forward to serving this school district.
Hello, my name is Martha Berthium, and I'd like to ask you to consider me for one of the 2 available seats on the Spencer East Brookfield Regional School Committee. I am a lifetime resident of Spencer. I am a graduate of David Prouty High School, as well as my husband and our 2 children, Allison and Rob. I currently have 2 grandsons who attend school in East Brookfield Elementary School. For those who don't know me well, you might recognize me as the face who sat in the superintendent of schools office as the secretary from 1982 until my retirement in March of 2015. I met countless numbers of people during my employment there, most of them wonderful people who truly cared about the education of our children. I am very concerned about our school district now. While I give credit to those who worked hard to get us out of the financial crisis we faced, I ask that you think of the issues that are currently facing our school district. Morale in the school district is at an all-time low. Not only with staff, but probably more importantly with our students. Students, especially high school students, do not feel supported. Key administrators are leaving, some who have been here for many years, others who are only here for months. Students are leaving in record numbers with enrollments at an all-time low. Those who choice out to other school districts take with them hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money. If elected, I would want to start immediately to address these issues. We need to find out why our staff and students are leaving in record numbers. As a community, I believe it is our duty to make sure that our students' needs are being met and that we are providing them with all the tools they need to have successful futures. The main duty of a school committee is policy making. Our policies need to be reviewed. They need to be clear and concise with no gray areas. The staff must understand them in order to adhere to them. Costly investigations and legal fees could have been avoided had our staff been trained in understanding the policies in order to adhere to them. This was not the case. These are the main three issues I would immediately address if elected. 1, why our staff and students are leaving in record numbers. 2, the beginning of the review of our policy manual to ensure that they are up to date and that they have no gray areas. Improvement of communication is very important. Our superintendent of schools needs to respond to people when they reach out to her, whether it be students, staff, or the general community. Many people are feeling frustrated in their attempts to address the superintendent and the school committee, and they are often shut down at school committee meetings. This is not acceptable to me. In conclusion, I ask that you remember to vote on May 10th. I feel that my history and knowledge of the school district are my strengths, and I hope that if you want change, you will vote for me. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today about the current conditions of the Spencer East Brookfield Regional School District. In doing so, I'd like to speak to you in three areas: financial solvency, accountability, and moving forward. A little more than 2.5 years ago, I came to this district to help solve a financial crisis. A former superintendent had mishandled close to $2 million. The district was broken. It was broken financially, it was broken educationally, it was broken culturally. Within a short period of coming to the board, I was notified that there were no funds to pay for delivery of food services to the cafeteria or to pay payroll for teachers and staff in the upcoming payroll period. We had to make some critical decisions and had to make them fast. Would we let this school district fall into bankruptcy and state takeover, or would we fight to retain our independence and try to bring financial solvency back to the district? We chose to do the latter. With the help of our state contingency, emergency financing was filed. We were provided the opportunity to borrow up to $3 million, and after close scrutiny, we felt that $1.1 million would allow us to put the district back on track. At that time, the prediction from the state was that this would be a 10-year process. I'm pleased to report to you today that that process has allowed us to pay this note off in September of 2017, making the district debt-free. Along with looking at the financial picture of the district, we looked at the many reasons why we fell into the state that we were in. We had to look for accountability. In doing so, we had to make a lot of tough choices. First, we froze the spending of all accounts. We took the checkbooks away from everyone in the district other than the business manager. We plugged the holes that were bleeding financially, and we put in place best practices for the handling of taxpayer funds. We took a fresh look at how business was being conducted in the district, and we tried to put those things in place that would give us the biggest bang for our buck. Now you might wonder, how was this accomplished in such a short period of time? It required these tough choices. And in doing so, we knew that we were going to make a lot of enemies, and there would be a lot of people blocking the way to try to get us to the point that we're at. And that certainly did happen. But in the course of trying to restore financial solvency to this district, we had to do what had to be done to remove the risk of taxpayers' funds not providing the best possible education for our students. The question now is, how do we move forward? The best way for us to do that is the district now has a plan, a district improvement plan, that will allow us to start the process to bring academic rigor and excellence back to our school district. It has a mission and it has a set of goals. The first one of those goals is to provide a safe and secure learning environment for our students. This is being accomplished with the current budget for the 2016-17 year that will go before both communities. It provides for over $500,000 of spending to put in place security measures at all schools throughout the district. Some of our schools at this time do not even have security cameras. We are also putting in new security doors, new phone systems, so that communication levels can be held accountable in case of an emergency situation. We have also provided funds to put in place effective curriculum classroom and professional development for those teachers to bring forward the technology for the 21st century that is desperately needed in our district. At this point, over $700,000 has been allocated to make all of our schools Wi-Fi accessible. We are providing all classrooms with smart interactive boards, iPads, mini iPads, Chromebooks, and many other technological advances that we hope in the long run will choose to make students stay in our district, and some of those who have left return. We also had to look at how we could support student learning. What were the things we could do to entice students to be more involved in the school system? For the first time, we've been able to earmark funds for band, for music, for athletics, and for arts. These departments will receive anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 of money to infuse programs to be incorporated into the curriculum of the students across the district. We have a choice on May 10th. We can either revert back to the days of financial chaos and near bankruptcy, or we can stay the course. We can stay the course of financial solvency and accountability. For some, those are tough choices. For me, they're very easy. I didn't come here to this district 3 years ago to make friends. I came here to do a job that required making tough decisions, to stand up and do what was the right thing, regardless of who the personalities are that were involved. I hope that you find what the financial state of the district is worthy of your vote to return me back to the Regional School Committee so we can start the difficult process of upgrading our curriculum and instilling academic excellence to the Spencer East Brookfield Regional School District. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tony Pepe, and my name will be on the ballot May 10th for a spot on Spencer's Board of Selectmen. First, I'd like to thank you for the honor of serving on the board for the past 6 years. I've enjoyed the privilege immensely. I believe we have accomplished a lot over the last 6 years, but I'd like to talk about the future. What I'd like to accomplish, what I'd like the town to accomplish over the next few years. The overriding goal for me is to improve the quality of life for every citizen in this town. How do we do that? First, improving public safety, to make sure our police and fire departments have the necessary resources to do their jobs successfully and effectively. To support them in any way possible, whether this includes training or equipment, these groups do a phenomenal job for us, and I want to see that continue. Improving infrastructure. To attract new families, businesses, events, and commerce to town, we need to improve our crumbling infrastructure. This will also help maintain and eventually, I believe, increase property values in the area, as well as the general quality of life. The roads project is a step in the right direction. I strongly believe we need to get this done. We need to manage and maintain all our town resources in a responsible manner, whether they be buildings, equipment, vehicles, or our roads. Economic development. I have and will continue to work hard to improve economic development for our town. We must make every effort to ensure that this town is as business-friendly as possible. I want to make our town an attractive place for small business, specifically downtown. This effort includes listening to our current businesses in an effort to improve that environment. Improving economic development, I believe, will have a rippling effect in other areas of town life. I am a part of a current committee of concerned citizens working on this, and I hope to continue. Conservative financial management. We will continue to manage the town's finances in a conservative fashion. I will work as hard as I can to ensure every dollar spent is spent wisely and waste is controlled and avoided. Over the last 6 years, we have reviewed every budget, line by line, and considered every capital request very closely. When we have made requests for financial help from our citizens, it has always been after exhaustive reviews of the issues, presentation of supporting facts, and all available alternatives. But I pledge to continue that conservative approach. I want to continue the work of the Financial Management Planning Committee to chart out the town's long-term financial plan. I believe a town needs a view of the broad horizon for possible financial issues as well as opportunities to maintain its fiscal health. Education. We need to be a supportive partner to our schools and school committee. I promise to work diligently with the district and to be supportive and fair. I believe I always have been. Building a good school district is vital in building a good, strong community. We have a social contract with our citizens to deliver a quality education to all our children. I promise to continue to contribute in that area. I will continue to watch out for our veterans and elderly. They have always held a special place for me, and they are an important part of our community and should be treated as such. I will continue to maintain the services that these groups find vital and have come to expect. In addition, I will continue to question and eliminate waste in town government and continuously try to improve the way the town delivers its services. We need to look at everything we do in town government and see if there's a better way, a more effective way of doing it. We will continue to actively and aggressively search out all grants in all areas of government to assist in the support of town services and improve the general quality of life in town. It is important to complete some of our critical initiatives going on in town, such as the Main Street project, the downtown revitalization effort, efforts to renovate housing and roads in certain areas of town, which we have successfully received grants for, and the comprehensive roads project. These projects are critical for improving our neighborhoods, our way of life, and must be seen through. I promise to always fight to maintain current levels of critical services for the town, as well as continuously try to improve them. These services are important to our quality of life, and we understand that. In addition, I will work hard to find ways to bring back services that have been reduced or lost over the last few years. I truly believe we have transformed town government in the last several years. We've questioned the way we have always done things. We have fostered creative thinking to address issues like regionalization. We have made government a little more flexible and agile to address the things going on around it. These efforts may not always be seen, but they are happening. I pledge to continue this always. I proudly consider myself a fiscal conservative, but I believe government should be reasonable at this level. If there is a need or a project that I believe that would be good for the town of Spencer, I will listen. I will not let any ideology stop me from making a decision that I think truly benefits the town. But I always have and promise to continue to review these requests carefully with a fine-tooth comb and analyze every angle before giving my approval. That has been my nature, always has been, always will be. I promise to watch out for your tax dollars the best I can. Most of all, I believe I serve the will of the people of Spencer. I enjoy hearing your voices, your opinions, your input, and I promise I'll always listen. I will make myself available for that. To help facilitate this, I intend to start my office hours again to get that vital input. I believe that there's a lot we can do together to make Spencer a better place to live. I, like you, believe this town, I love this town and want to see it improve, grow, and thrive. So I humbly request for your vote on May 10th for Tony Pepe, Selectman, to help make those improvements a reality. Thank you for placing your trust in me over the years, and I hope to continue to earn that trust. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ralph Hicks, candidate for the Board of Selectmen in Spencer. Some of you may recall my tenure as Superintendent of Schools and my earlier service as a selectman and as a school committee member. I was on the Spencer East Brookfield Regional School Committee from 1970 to 1985. I served on 2 school building committees, Knox Trail and Wire Village. I served as a selectman from 1997 to 2002. I retired as superintendent of schools for the Ashburnham-Westminster Regional School District in July of this past year. I went there after I left 7 years as superintendent in Spencer East Brookfield. I saw the unexpired term for selectmen, and I felt, since there didn't appear to be a lot of candidates, in fact there weren't any, that my experience might come in handy. I'm a firm believer in involving as many people as you can in decision making. Now that doesn't mean that you have the voters vote on every single item that comes up to the Board of Selectmen. What I view that as being is that I am accessible. My phone number is in the phone book, or you can get it from information. I'm available at almost any time, day, night, weekend, hopefully within reasonable hours. I am accessible. If people want to meet with me, all they have to do is call. I'll be happy to arrange a place in the town hall for us to meet and talk. I also believe that government needs to be progressive. I think it needs to be efficient. It needs to be available. One thing that I'm going to work very hard at trying to do is getting the town hall open in the evening. I find it's very inconsiderate of town government to not have the town hall open at least one evening a week. Now, I'm no fool. I understand that we have money issues in the town of Spencer. We will always have money issues in the town of Spencer. In fact, most towns in Massachusetts are in that same boat due to Proposition 2.5. When you can only increase your levy limit by 2.5% a year, you're going to have problems because government has things such as health insurance, energy costs that go up well beyond the cost of inflation very, very frequently. It's not uncommon for health insurance to have double-digit increases. So how do you cover that and everything else when you can only raise taxes 2.5%? That requires a lot of creativity. Occasionally it requires doing a little bit of fundraising, if you will, if you know what I mean. That is something the voters decide, absolutely and with all certainty. Nevertheless, I find it hard to believe that there isn't some way we can't find money to open that town hall at least one evening a week so that folks that work during the daytime, like most people do, can come to the town hall and get whatever business they need to get done, whether it's a dog license, paying a tax bill, getting an excise tax abated, a building permit for a shed or a garage or whatever you're doing. I really feel strongly that needs to be done. I feel that the town has done a lot of good things in recent years. I want to continue those good things. I also feel there are things that could be improved upon. And I want to be able to hear from citizens. The Board of Selectmen does have a citizen input time, and anytime anybody wishes to address the board, I encourage them to do so. Once again, not everybody wants to come to a public meeting and get on a camera. That's why you can call my home and speak to me about something if there's an issue that you are particularly interested in. I do not have an opponent. I am running against, as I say, Mr. Blank. However, by the same token, I would appreciate any votes that I may receive on Election Day. That's pretty much all I have to say. I want to thank you for your attention and for taking the time to watch the candidates' presentations. I hope you all have a very good day. Thank you very much. 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 Thank you very much.